How our position paper ought to look. Yours should look like this one. Sasha Scholars has the right format. Yours needs to follow that format. Let me start at the top. You need a header. So this is different than the heading. The heading only shows up at the top of page 1. The header shows up at the top of all the pages. And you need a page number plus your last name. So to insert the page number, actually, who knows how to insert a page number on this piece? Many of you, but not all. It's quite easy. You go up to Insert, and page number, and top of the page, align to the right, click OK, boom, it's done, right? And then to type your name, you simply type next to the page number, and as you can see here, the page number changes, but the last name stays the same. All right, that's well and good. Now, for the heading, you need these 4 items. Your name, obviously, and then give me class and period. I have more than one 10 honors class. And then you put my name here, but you're going to put your professors' names in college, and then the date. Lots of people like to ask, what's the correct format for the date? I don't know. Just communicate the date, right? Due date, typically due date for the assignment. Then you have a title. You don't have to have a clever title. You could just have a standard title. But professors appreciate clever titles. I appreciate clever titles. Just put a title in, right? And if it's clever, awesome. Now, you're going to begin, obviously, with an introduction. Notice this one's not long. It's a 300-word essay. You don't need 5 sentences introducing the essay because 5 sentences will take up almost a third of your paper. I put 2 paragraphs for your description of the problem. If you only have 1, so be it, but the bulk of your essay you should dedicate to the problem. The better you explain the problem, the more you can include in the satire, the better your satire is going to be. So spend more time explaining the problem than you do the solution. And then the solution will go in the last page. Notice I did not write a conclusion paragraph. For an essay this short, you don't need a separate conclusion paragraph. You can conclude with the last sentence or 2 of the last paragraph. That's conclude. You can write conclusion enough there. Also notice the lengths of the paragraphs are fairly similar. You want that. Now, your introduction is going to be shorter than the others, most likely. And hey, maybe this paragraph is going to be 3 or 4, maybe even 5 lines longer, maybe, than the other paragraphs, maybe. But what you don't want is 1 short paragraph at the beginning, 1 fat paragraph in the middle, and then 1 tiny paragraph at the end. You want the paragraphs to be more or less the same length. Not quite, but close. Any questions about that? Okay, cool. Works cited page. This gets people, what's the right way to say it? Works cited pages are tedious. And some people just ignore the tedium and turn in their paper and make a bunch of mistakes. You've got to do the tedious stuff to get all the points. You want the points, just do the tedious stuff. So make your works cited page look like this one. This lists the typical information that appears in a works cited page. If you have an author, which you usually do for the article, the last name goes first, followed by the first name, and then you put the title of the article in quotation marks, and the title of the book or news organization in italics. Here's the general rule. Smaller items, quotation marks. Larger items, italicized. So a song, smaller item, quotation marks. A song album name, larger item, italicized. So. An article in the newspaper. It's a smaller item. Do you put it in quotation marks or do you italicize it? Quotation marks. Yes, quotation marks, because it's the smaller item in the newspaper. Okay. The newspaper itself, say the Indy Star, quotation mark, or italicize. Yes, so italicize the larger item. And then the publication information differs based on whether you're quoting an interview or a book or a newspaper article or a song, etc. Just he's going to have some publication information. Do not forget to use hanging indentation. Who's heard of that? Okay, that is good. For those who haven't, it's quite easy. This is hanging indentation right there. Do you see it? You see it? You see it? Right there. There it is. If you want to move chairs, if that one's bothering you, you can move. Is that the squeaky one? What is it? You can move chairs. Whoever's it is. It's fine. So the first line, look, the first line, don't indent. The second line, third, fourth, fifth, indent. Do y'all know why? Because it's the rule.
If you're looking for like the author's last name, you can just quickly see. You don't have to like look through a large block of text to find where the author's last name starts. You can just look at the one line to see where the author's last name.
And you're going to start writing longer papers where you have 6, 8, maybe even 20 sources. This is later. Still, 20 sources. If you don't use hanging indentation, it's hard to tell where one source begins and the other one ends. I just finished a book by this historian about the American Revolution, 200 sources. Without hanging indentation, you wouldn't be able to tell which source is which. So we use it. Also notice that you list the sources by alphabetical order. If I had more sources, I could show you, but alphabetical order by the first word here. And if you have numbers here, the numbers would go before the letters. Yep. So the question is, do you do hanging indentation for every source, right?
Yeah.
So yes, and the hanging indentation on the far left indicates you have a new source. So the first line of the new source, don't indent. Every line after that of the new source, you indent. And once you have a new source, like a second source, first line goes all the way to the left, every other line indented. Yes?
So when you're sorting them alphabetically, if your source doesn't have a name for the author, can you just do it as the first letter of the title?
Still have a question? Yeah.
You know how it said we could like conduct our own research if we couldn't find any. So how would we like put that in the website?
I'm glad you asked. So how do you put like your own research in the works cited? To answer that, I'm going to take you back to Canvas, to the Purdue OWL, Purdue Online Writing Lab. Very useful source, and it's a more reliable alternative to EasyBib. Raise your hand. You know it's you. Who's used EasyBib? Yes. Okay. All right. Well, here's the thing about EasyBib. It's unreliable. For instance, it repeats itself, or it puts in those gigantic URLs that are irritating and nobody wants to see 400 letters for a website name, right? Anyways, EasyBib is unreliable, but Purdue OWL, fully reliable. Literally, back in my day, we used the Purdue OWL. So the left side, once you get past these idiotic ads, the left side is what's most useful. So you're looking for MLA, works cited, and you have the basic format, books, periodicals. So most of you are going to find electronic sources, and I'll get to your interview in a moment. But you click electronic sources if you want to cite a website, and let's type in website. Citing an entire website. Here's the heading. Here's the format. Done. Follow that format. Now, if you need to cite a page on a website, here we go. Shrink. There we go. This one here by Susan Lundvand. Done. Where you have author's last name, title title of her article, title of the website, URL, date it was accessed. Just one quick note, if you have a long URL, delete all that nonsense. Just put the important part, www.newyorktimes.com. That's enough. All right, on to the question about an interview. So over here, we have other common sources. So you click other common sources, and I just press Control F, interview, boom, boom, boom. There we go. And interview, personal interviews. Smith, Jane, personal interview, done. So that's all you put in the work cited. Any questions so far? I would go to general Google, how to cite a poll, MLA. Oh, survey, that's a better word for it. Let's see if survey's in here. Survey says. That's good. And I'm sure you can find it in here. Yeah, you can just Google how to search for it, or how to cite a survey or a poll. Other questions? Okay. Yes, yes. Person you interview. Use that person's last name. Yeah, you're asking about the in-text citation? I was just about to get to that. I'm glad you said something. So what do you put in the in-text citation? When I say in-text citation, raise your hand if you know what I'm talking about. A few of you, not everyone. So the parenthetical citation, right? That's inside your paragraph. My essay has disappeared. There it is. All right, let's say I quoted the phrase, another paragraph, right? There it is. I quoted another paragraph. And let's say that the person I quoted is Miss Jane Smith. Okay, I quoted Jane Smith right here. So what do I put inside of the parentheses? Yes. Smith and then the page number. But is there a page number for interview? No. So I've heard you could do it two ways. One, you just leave the page number blank. The other one, you just put Smith 1. I don't think I'm going to care either way. So Vinay he asked a question that comes up. What if you have an article with no title, right? Let's look for an example. Here we go. So for our first entry, we just deleted the author, and now all we have is the title, right? So what you put in the parentheses is a shortened version of the title. So you don't put title of article in quotation marks. You're just going to put the word title in the parentheses, because that's the first word of the title. And if the word a or an or the is in there, just put the title, right? That's all we need to put in. But also we're going to put in the quotation marks, because we want to communicate that title is not the last name of the author. title is the name of a article title. Any? Yes, sir.
Are we like specifically looking for in-text citations? Like, do we have to do it? Like, how often do we have to do in-text
Yeah.
citations?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think that honestly, one could be enough. You still need 3 sources. So you quote one of them, but you've still consulted the other 2. If you have 2 quotations, 3 quotations, that's fine. In an essay this short, though, if you have multiple quotations, the quotations end up eating the paper, where 100 of your 300 words belong to someone else. You don't want that. Other questions? See if there's anything else I need to tell you all. Oh, last bullet point. The works cited page belongs at the end of its own page at the top. Don't put it at the bottom of the last page of your essay. Put it at the top of a new page. And with that, I'm going to stop us and you're going to have work time. If you use this work time well, great. I might be able, you may be able to talk me into giving you work time tomorrow. I'm going to walk around, ask questions. Let me know if you have any.